Assalamualaikum and hi to my beloved lecturer Dr. Sabarina Binti Muhammad Shah and all my fellow friends. So today we are from group 4 want to present about payroll. So before we start our presentation, I want to introduce our group members. So me is Nura Hashimah Binti Muhammad Razaman, and next we have Nurul Fathanah and also Nuraisya. Okay, this is outline for our presentation today. First, we start to the process involved in the human resource management, which include the payroll. Human resource management process. Why is the payroll under this management process? Because all employee is assist under human resource. So before we hire an employee, we need to establish policy, which include hiring, training, evaluating, counseling, promoting, compensating, and taking remedial action for employees. Then we hired an employees. Then they will get a payroll, which is their salary, but by performing their job. So when you're performing their job, they need to recording time spent on a timesheet for their evidence. So after that, the timesheet will go to payroll department to be approved by supervisor whether they really do their job and not do a idle time. Then we move to IT department. The IT department will review and set the data that they are received for the processing payment. So the payment will be give to the employee by directly or deposit to their account bank. Next is types of documents and records. First is personal record. Personal record is records that include wage rate or salary. So mostly is contain about information about the employees, such as work history, hiring date, wage rate, or salary. Basically, personal record we maintain in human resource department. Next is deduction authorization form. This is about the payment for the retirement and healthcare. So this form will be authorized for the withholding of payroll tax. Next is time card or timesheets. It is about to record the hours worked by the employee, the start hours and the stop, the end. So it maybe can be swipe an identification card or enters an identification number into an electronic keypad. This for time tracking system records and accumulates the hours worked. Next is various tax reports. Reports for government include reports related to social security taxes. Next, direct deposit records or payroll check. This is about the check that include the amount paid to the employee for their service. Then payroll register. They summarize all payroll payment issued to employees. It is in IT department, maintained in the payroll master file. Then next is payroll master file. Payroll master file is computer file, have all records related to payroll. Lastly is periodic payroll report. This is prepared at the end of each or month. Department head use this report to monitor payroll expense very. Next, journal entries and accounts involved in payroll transaction. So they have two transaction that involve under the payroll transaction. First, payroll transaction. Second, accurate payroll and liability transaction. These are the general entries for the payroll. So after the IT department review and set their processing data for the payment to the salary, so they record the salary to employees, which is debit, wages, expense, and credit cash. Then they also record the accurate payroll liability transaction, which is debit payroll taxes, then credit cash.
Now we move on to the flow chart for the payroll in the human resources management. Okay, this is the flow chart of the payroll. Usually it begins with an employee performing some job and then record the time spent on the timesheet. The timesheet, which is here, it is approved by supervisor before being forwarded to the payroll department. And then the payroll department consists of payroll master file and changes and time card. This input will be sent to the IT department and it will divide into two divisions, which is payroll processing program and payroll reporting program. for reporting program, it will properly report in payroll transaction in general ledger. And for the payroll processing program, it is responsible to computing the employee salaries and make direct payment to the employee or deposit employee bank account. For internal control in payroll transaction, internal control that can be applied is control activities. The first control activities is limit access to payroll record. Only the person who run payroll for the business should have access to payroll record and processes. For example, the management can have a trusted manager or hired payroll specialist to run the payroll. Next is use security measures. Lock up the payroll record so unauthorized people cannot access them. For example, the business that has the electronic record should be protected behind a strong password. If the business use paper record, they should have been locked up somewhere, such as a filing cabinet. Next is create a separate bank account. Create a bank account dedicated to payroll, which means every time manager wants to process payroll or pay payroll taxes, the money should come out of this dedicated account. The payroll bank account should only ever have enough fund to complete payroll. The rest of the money should be protected in a separate bank account for business. And the last one is time card approved twice, which means the employer and the employee should approve the time card to ensure a time card is correct. For example, the employee approve which they check the time card before submitting it to the employer. Then the employer approval allow him to ensure the employee is not manipulating their hours. We move on to the risk area in payroll transaction. Inherent risk. In assessing inherent risk, the auditor may want to consider the effect of the economic condition on payroll costs, the supply of skilled workers, and the frequency of employee turnover. It is important because the more turnover, the more opportunity of errors and mistakes. High turnover will increase the inherent risk. For inherent risk that associated with executive compensation, frequently the risk is set at high because officer may have motive and opportunity to take advantage of their high-ranking office in the form of excessive compensation. Control risk. There are three major steps that involve in this risk. The first one is understand and document internal control. The auditor's understanding of the human resources management process is normally gained by conducting a walkthrough of the system to gather evidence about the various functions that are involved in processing the transaction through the system. The auditor's understanding of internal control for the payroll system should be documented in the working papers using flowchart, internal control questionnaire, and memorandum. Next step is plan and perform test control. When reliance strategy is followed, the auditor must identify the control activities that ensure that material misstatements are either prevented or detected and corrected. For example, the entity may have formal procedure for classifying payroll costs in appropriate account. The last step is set and document the control risk. Set the control risk and document that assessment. The documentation supporting that achieved level of control risk for the payroll system might include a flowchart, the result of test of control, and memorandum that indicate the overall conclusion about the control risk.
I am Nurul Fathanah and I will continue with important assertion in payroll transaction and relevant audit procedure. Okay, for first assertion is occurrence. Possible misstatement is payment made to the terminate employees or the value employees who have not workers. We control activity with segregations of duty by observe the evaluate segregations of duty. Second, initiations of change in the employment status, wages or salary, and benefit made by operating department reported to the Office of Human Resource by review and test entity procedure for changing a employees record. And third, only employees with the valid employee number paid by review and test entity procedure for interim removing employee number from the payroll master file. Okay, second, authorization. Possible misstatement and authorization payment made to the employees or payment made to the employees at the rate in the excess of authorized amount or for the authorized employee benefits. So we control activity with authorization procedure. First, hiring and terminating employees. Time works, wages, salary and commission rate, withholdings, benefit and payroll payment. So in the test of control, we will review and test authorization procedure for the each point of authorization in the pay cycle. So the next is classifications. The possible misstatement, pay taxation not be properly classified. So we control our activity with independence, approval and review of account charge for the payroll by review and test procedure for classifying payroll costs. And second, use of the payment budget with review by the department or supervisor by review entity budget procedure. Okay, last exception is accuracy. Possible misstatement and authorized payment made to the employee. We control activity with verifications of payroll, amount and benefit calculations by review and test entity verification procedure. And second, use of the payroll budgets with the review of by department supervisor by review entity budgeting procedure. And lastly, change to the master payroll file verified with before and after report by test reconciliations of before and after report to the payroll master file. Okay, now we proceed to payroll case. Okay, there is background case for the Vans Corporation Berhad. The following error and inconsistencies has been occurred. First, a worker paycheck was not processed properly because he has transposed two numbers in his identifier numbers when he filled out his time card. Second, a worker was issued a check for 12,000 where it should be half 1,200. Third, one worker paycheck was not written and this error was not detected until the payment checks for the department were disproved by the supervisor. Fourth, part of the master payroll file was destroyed when the tape was inadvertently mounted on the wrong tape drive and used as the drive tape. The data processing department attempted to re-establish the destroyed portion from the original source document and other record. Fifth, when worker receives a paycheck for an amount considerably larger than she should have, further investigation realized that 84 has been punched inside of 48 for hours work. See, several accounts of the master payroll were skipped and not included on the updated master payroll. This was not detected for several pay period. And last, in the process now receive routine change, a computer operator include a pay rate increase for one of his friends in the factory. This was discovered by chance by another employee. Okay, the question is identify the control weakness in the payroll procedure and the computer processing as is now conducted by Vans Corporation Berhad. Recommend the change. Okay, first weakness is control in the information processing, which is application to apply to the process of pay checks through the fill out identification number is not effective. So we recommend to set the maximum digit number of the identification word on the their time card. Thus the process of the paycheck through the fill out identification number is more effective. And second is the amount of the payroll transaction not entered correctly. So value did not check carefully the amount before approve and after approval. And our recommendation reconciliations of before and after report to payroll master file by make sure the amount that supervisors approve is same with the amount to the stock distribute to the worker before on the timesheet.
Next error is one worker's paycheck was not written and this error was not detected until the paycheck for that department were distributed by the supervisors. The control weakness here is the payment of salary was made but one of the worker payment was missing. IT department team did not aware the total number of employees and the management did not check properly the salary paid to which worker. So recommendation is the management should record the number check each employee received in the system so that management can trace who employee did not pay yet. Next error is part of the master payroll file was destroyed when the tape reel was inadvertently mounted on the wrong tape drive and used as a scratch tape. The data processing department attempt to re-establish the destroyed portion from original sources document and other records. The control weakness here is the management was not careful in the documentation of master payroll. The master payroll document did not keep in the proper method. So for the recommendation, the management should keep the master payroll document in the file that have the ring that used to keep the document in the file. So it will be more systematic. Or the management can save the document in the file soft copy by scan that document. The next error is one worker received a paycheck for an amount considerably larger than she should have. Further investigation revealed that 84 had been punched instead of 48 for 4 hours work. So the control weakness here is the amount of working hour is not entered correctly, which means supervisor did not check carefully the amount before and after approval. So the recommendation is the management should reconcile of both of before and after approval for timesheet by making sure the amount that supervisor approved is same with the amount to be distributed.
Next is several records on the master payroll file was kept and not included on the updated master payroll file. This was not detected for several periods. So we can identify the weaknesses is employee services provided but not recorded. It is kept on the master payroll files. So what we recommend is check numerical sequence of timesheets for all the employee before record. So therefore it will not be skipped if the numerical is follow the sequence. So lastly is in processing non-routine changes, a computer operator included a pay rate increases for one of his friends in the factory. This was discovered by chance by another employee. So the weakness we identify is an unauthorized payment made to employee. Payment made to the employee for unauthorized employee benefits. So we recommend it. Management should lock up the payroll record so unauthorized people can access it. Only the person who runs payroll for the business should have access to payroll records and processes. Next, the electronic record, such as computer, should be protected behind a strong password. So management should build a password that can only be accessed by certain people. Last, the manager should observe the processing of non-routine changes the computer operator. So while the operator is do their routine, so there should be a manager to watch them for do it. So that's all from us. Thank you. Bye.